Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan. Whether you're walking to work, doing dishes, or just relaxing at home, thanks for joining us on Speak Up, the podcast that helps you grow your English and your mindset. Today's topic is one I think we all need: how to focus on your goals. It sounds simple, but we both know it's not always easy, right?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Priya, and I'm so happy to be here with you. You know, many of us set goals, like learning English, saving money, or starting a small business. But staying focused is where we struggle. Today, we'll break it down step by step. No complicated advice, just real simple strategies you can start using right now.
And here's something to think about. Have you ever felt super motivated one day, but then totally lost the energy the next? You're not alone. That's actually very common. But there's a reason it happens, and we'll explain that soon. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes people make is revealed in our first tip.
Ooh, I can't wait to share that one. And don't worry, we'll keep the language simple and the conversation real. So if you've ever asked yourself, why can't I stick to my goals? Then this episode is just for you.
First, let's talk about what a goal really is. A lot of people say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. That sounds nice, but it's not clear. A real goal should be specific, something you can actually work on. For example, instead of, I want to be fluent in English, a better goal would be, I want to practice speaking English for 10 minutes every day for 3 months. Now that's clear. You can measure it, and you know what action to take.
Exactly, Ryan. And that's where many people go wrong. They confuse dreams with goals. A dream is like a wish. It feels good to think about, but without action, it just stays in your head. A goal, on the other hand, is something you break down and plan. Let's say someone wants to save money. If they say, I want to be rich, that's a dream. But if they say, I will save 2,000 rupees every month starting this week, that's a goal. It's clear, it's focused, and they can actually track their progress.
Right. And the truth is, without clarity, our brains get lazy. When your goal is too big or too fuzzy, your mind doesn't know what to do next. But when you're clear, it's like giving your brain a map. Imagine someone wants to start a side business. Saying, I want to make money online is too broad. But saying, I want to sell handmade crafts online and get my first 5 customers this month is focused. That's goal setting for success. Clarity turns big dreams into real action.
And here's the cool part. Once your goal is clear, it becomes way easier to stay motivated. Your brain starts to see the steps. If you're learning English, don't just say, I want to speak better. Say, I want to learn 10 new English words every week. Or, I want to join an English conversation group on weekends. These are small steps, but they build big results over time. That's what defining a real goal looks like.
And it also helps you say no to distractions. When you know what your goal is, you can say, hey, this doesn't help me right now. I need to focus on what matters. It gives you power. You're no longer guessing or wasting time. You've got direction. Even if the goal is small, like practicing English 5 minutes a day, that's still a goal, and that's still progress.
Yes, and we're not saying your goals have to be perfect or huge. They just need to be real, something you can start. So ask yourself right now, what's one clear, simple goal you can set today? Maybe it's related to English, your job, your health, anything. Just make it specific. Because once you define it clearly, you're already one step ahead of most people.
Now that we've talked about how to set a clear goal, let's take it a step further. Let's talk about the why behind your goal. This part is powerful. So many people say, I want to speak better English, but they never stop to ask why that goal matters to them. When you find your why, it gives your goal purpose. For example, maybe you want to learn English not just for fun, but because you want to apply for a better job or help your child with their schoolwork. That emotional reason, that deep motivation, is what keeps you going when things get hard.
Totally agree. Your why is like the fuel behind your goal. Without it, you'll run out of energy fast. Here's a simple tip I always share. Write down your goal and then list 3 reasons why it's important to you. Don't overthink it. Just be honest. Let's say your goal is to save money. Maybe your 3 whys are, I want to pay off my debt, I want to feel secure, and I want to take care of my parents. When you read those reasons every morning, you feel that goal. You remember why you started. That's what helps you stay focused.
Yes, it's so different when there's emotion behind it. I remember talking to a listener who said she wanted to improve her English because she felt embarrassed at work meetings. That emotion, embarrassment, was actually her why. She didn't want to feel that way anymore, so she studied every day, just 15 minutes, and within months, she felt more confident. So if you're listening right now, ask yourself, what's really pushing me? What's the story behind your goal? That's your motivation behind the goal, and it's stronger than any habit or to-do list.
And once you know your why, you can remind yourself of it during tough days. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're busy, but when you remember the reason, it pulls you forward. Like if someone's learning English because they want to move to another country for better opportunities, that's a big deal. That's not just a language goal, it's a life goal. You won't forget that easily. That kind of purpose helps you stay focused on your goals even when things get tough or boring.
Exactly. And this is why just copying someone else's goal never works. Your why has to be personal. If someone says you should lose weight or you should learn English, but you don't care about it deeply, it won't stick. The moment you connect your goal to something that matters to you, you're in. That's when it becomes real. So take a few minutes after this episode, write down your goal, and ask yourself, why does this really matter to me?
Beautifully said, Ryan. And remember, your why can be big or small. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it matters to you. Maybe it's for your kids, your career, your confidence, or just because you want to grow. Keep that reason close. When you know why you're doing something, staying focused doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes something you want to do.
Now that we've understood how to find our why, let's look at something that often holds people back, trying to do too much. It's what I call goal clutter. Have you ever tried chasing 5 or 6 goals at the same time? One week you want to learn English, next week you want to start a YouTube channel, then you want to get fit, save money, and read more books, all at once. It sounds productive, but in the end, nothing really gets done. This is why it's so important to focus on one goal, maybe 2, but not 10.
Yes, it's like trying to cook 5 meals in one small kitchen at the same time. You burn something, spill something else, and end up hungry and frustrated. That's what happens when you overload yourself. I remember one of my students said she wanted to speak fluent English, get a promotion, and write a book all in 3 months. Guess what? She ended up quitting everything. She had what we call goal fatigue. She didn't lack motivation, she just had too many things pulling her in different directions.
Exactly. I once met a guy named Arjun who did the opposite. He decided to focus on just one goal, improving his spoken English. He didn't care about anything else for those 3 months. No side goals, no distractions. Every day he practiced speaking, watched English videos, and joined a local speaking club. 3 months later, his confidence had doubled. He even gave a presentation at work in English. That's the power of clarity. When you stop multitasking your goals, your results get sharper.
That's a great example. You know, focusing on fewer goals doesn't mean you're doing less. It means you're doing the right things. You're giving your energy to something that actually matters to you. And that's what leads to progress. We live in a world where people wear being busy like a badge, but being busy with 10 unfinished goals isn't impressive. Doing one thing well, now that's powerful. So if you're listening, ask yourself, what's one thing I want to really accomplish in the next 3 months?
And don't feel bad if you've been juggling too many goals till now. It's super common. But from today, try cutting down. Pick 1 or 2 goals max. Write them down somewhere you can see them every day. Remind yourself, this is where I'm putting my focus. Trust me, when you avoid multitasking and remove the extra noise, your mind feels lighter. You'll stop feeling overwhelmed, and that alone makes a huge difference in your focus.
So true, Ryan. Less is more when it comes to goal setting. And here's a bonus tip. When you say no to other goals for now, it's not forever. You're just saying, not right now. You can always come back to them later. But the first step is to give your energy to what matters most right now. That's how you gain real momentum. And before you know it, those one or two focused goals start opening up bigger doors.
All right. So far, we've talked about the danger of juggling too many goals. Now let's talk about something just as important. Breaking down your goal into small, simple tasks. This is where many people get stuck. They set a big goal like, I want to learn English, or I want to start a business, but they don't know where to start, so they feel overwhelmed and do nothing. That's why we teach something called micro-goal planning. It means taking your big goal and slicing it into small, doable actions.
Yes, and it really works. Think about it. Learn English sounds huge and kind of vague. But if you change it to practice speaking English for 10 minutes every day, now that's clear, that's doable. Or instead of saying, I want to save more money, say, I'll put aside 50 rupees every day after lunch. These small actions might not feel like much at first, but they add up quickly. And more importantly, they keep you moving forward, little by little.
I love that. There's this one student of mine, Rahul, who felt stuck with his English for years. When we started breaking it down, we made a super simple plan. Day 1, watch a 5-minute English video. Day 2, write 5 new words in a notebook. Day 3, practice saying them out loud. He followed that pattern for just 3 weeks, and the difference in his fluency was huge. Why? Because the tasks were easy to do, and that gave him small wins every day. That's how big goals become real.
Exactly. And here's where progress tracking comes in. Even if the steps are small, it's important to track them. You can use a notebook, a mobile app, or even a wall calendar. Check off what you do each day. When you see the marks adding up, it gives you a mental boost. You feel like, hey, I'm actually doing this. It builds your confidence, and confidence keeps you going, even on days when you feel lazy or tired.
Totally agree. And remember, the brain loves progress. It doesn't matter how tiny the step is, finishing one small task gives you a shot of motivation. You feel like a winner. So instead of writing a big, scary goal on your whiteboard, break it into pieces. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today? Then just do that. Tomorrow, ask again. That's the secret formula. One small task at a time.
And don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time doesn't exist. Start with whatever small action you can take today. It could be listening to this podcast, writing down your first task, or watching a quick English video. Just begin. Every great journey starts with a tiny step, right? So if you're listening now, your next step could be something as simple as writing your goal and your first 3 micro tasks. Keep it simple, keep it doable, and you'll be amazed at how far you go.
Now that we've talked about breaking big goals into small, simple actions, let's go one step deeper. Let's talk about distractions. Because even the best plan won't work if your mind keeps getting pulled in 10 different directions. I mean, we've all been there, right? You sit down to read something in English or practice speaking, and then your phone buzzes, the TV's on, someone calls your name, and boom, focus gone. That's why creating a distraction-free environment is so important.
Absolutely. And it's not just the outside distractions. Sometimes the biggest distractions are inside our own heads, like overthinking, worrying, or that fear of making mistakes when speaking English. You sit with a book or app, and suddenly you're thinking, what if I mess up? What if people laugh? That kind of mental noise can be louder than a TV. So it's really about managing both external and internal distractions. But the good news is we can do something about both kinds.
Right. And here's how you can start. First, pick a fixed time for your English practice every day. It trains your brain to focus like clockwork. Second, find a quiet corner. Could be your bedroom, the balcony, even the kitchen table, somewhere calm. Third, tell the people in your house, I need just 30 minutes without interruption. You'll be surprised how much more you can get done in that short, focused time when there's no noise around or in your head.
Yes, and don't be afraid to use tech to your advantage. There are so many phone apps that block notifications for a set time. Try ones like Forest, Focus to Do, or even the Do Not Disturb mode on your phone. That way, you're not tempted to check messages while practicing English. Also, set small time goals, like, I'll read this article for 15 minutes without checking my phone. You'll train your brain to stay on task, and that focus builds slowly over time.
You're so right. And here are 3 quick tips for improving focus, especially for English learners. 1. Always study in the same place if possible. That builds a habit loop. 2. Keep your phone in another room. Seriously, just do it. Out of sight, out of mind. And 3. Set a tiny reward. Like, after 20 minutes of reading or listening in English, I'll watch my favorite show or make a cup of chai. Little rewards keep your brain happy and come back for more.
That's such a powerful point. When your space is calm and your mind is clear, even 20 minutes can feel like magic. You don't need hours, you need quality time with no noise. So if you're someone who keeps saying, I want to improve my English, but I don't have time, maybe it's not time you're missing, maybe it's focus. And the good news is that's something you can control. Start small, build the right space. Protect your focus like it's gold, because honestly it is.
So far, we've worked on clearing distractions. But now comes the part that actually keeps you moving forward, your daily routine. Without a routine, even the best goal can slip away. Think about it like this. Your goal is the destination, but your routine? That's your vehicle. It's what keeps you driving every single day, even when motivation fades a little.
Exactly, Ryan. And here's the thing. Most people think success comes from doing something big or dramatic. But no, it's actually the small, repeated things that matter most, like reading in English every day for just 20 minutes after dinner, or reviewing new vocabulary words while sipping morning tea. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. That's what turns short-term action into long-term success.
I love that. And routines don't have to be complicated either. Pick 2 or 3 simple actions that support your goal and do them at the same time every day. For example, if your goal is to improve your spoken English, make a habit of recording yourself for 5 minutes every morning. Or listen to an English podcast on your walk to work. These little steps, done daily, create big results over time.
And it helps when your routine fits naturally into your life. If you're not a morning person, don't force yourself to study English at 5 a.m. Maybe your perfect time is after lunch or before bed. The key is to stick with it. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it. That's the power of a habit. A daily routine gives your brain a pattern to follow. And when your brain follows a pattern, it uses less energy and more focus.
That's so true. I also recommend keeping a simple goal journal. Just spend 5 minutes in the morning writing what you're going to do today, and 5 minutes at night writing what you actually did. It's not about being strict or judging yourself. It's about staying connected to your goal every day. That tiny check-in keeps your mind focused, and it also builds confidence when you see how far you've come.
100%. So to everyone listening, if you feel stuck or like your goal isn't moving fast enough, take a look at your daily routine. Are your habits pulling you closer to your goal or pulling you away from it? Even 1 or 2 small changes can completely shift your results. Remember, consistency beats intensity. You don't need to do more, you just need to do it daily.
Now that we've built a daily routine, let's talk about the elephant in the room, laziness and procrastination. We've all been there. You want to study English? You know it matters. But suddenly, everything else feels more interesting. Scrolling Instagram, making tea, taking a nap. Sound familiar? But here's the truth. Procrastination usually isn't about being lazy. It's about how you feel. Maybe you're overwhelmed, unsure where to start, or afraid you'll fail.
Exactly. Many people think, I'm just lazy. But often it's not laziness. It's mental pressure. Your brain says, this is too hard, or I don't have time. And boom, you avoid the task. One practical trick I love is the 2-minute rule. Just tell yourself, I'll do it for 2 minutes. Open your English notebook, say 1 sentence aloud, or write 1 line. Once you start, it's so much easier to keep going. Starting is often the hardest part.
Right. And another powerful way to beat laziness is to track your progress visually. Use a wall calendar or a simple habit tracker app. Mark an X every day you speak English or practice vocabulary. After a few days, you'll hate breaking the chain. It creates this little game in your mind. I've come this far. I don't want to stop now. That kind of momentum can silence procrastination without forcing yourself.
I also suggest finding an accountability partner, someone who checks in with you. Let's say you and your friend both want to improve your spoken English. Agree to send each other a 30-second voice message daily. It becomes a fun challenge. You're less likely to skip when someone else is expecting you to show up. It turns your personal goal into a shared effort, and that's a great motivator.
Here's another example. Imagine you come home from work, you're tired, and you think, I'll just relax for 5 minutes. Then it turns into an hour on YouTube. If that's you, set a timer. Say, I'll relax for 15 minutes, then I'll spend 10 minutes on my English goal. That tiny shift makes a huge difference. Don't wait to feel motivated, take a small action, and motivation will follow.
Yes, action creates energy. So the next time your brain says, I'll do it later, just smile and say, nope, just 2 minutes now. That's it. Procrastination feeds on delay. You can fight it by starting small and staying consistent. And remember, every time you choose action over avoidance, you're building mental strength. That's how people who succeed stay consistent, even on lazy days.
Finally, let's talk about something really important. Tracking your progress, adjusting your plan when needed, and celebrating those small wins. You can't improve what you don't measure. Checking in on your goal every week helps you see where you're going, and more importantly, it shows you what's working and what's not.
Yes, Ryan. And remember, if something isn't working, don't quit. Just adjust. Maybe you plan to study English for 30 minutes daily, but it's too much right now. It's okay to reduce it to 10 or 15 minutes instead. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about keeping moving forward. Missing a day or two doesn't mean failure, it's just part of the journey.
Right. Think about it like this. If you missed 2 days of practice, it's not the end of the world. You just pick yourself back up and keep going. Every small success matters. Like saying, today I spoke 5 full sentences in English without stopping. That's huge. These little wins build confidence and create a positive cycle. More wins mean more motivation.
Absolutely. Celebrating small victories keeps you inspired. Maybe you finally remembered a new word or understood a podcast without subtitles. Take a moment to feel proud, write it down, share it with a friend, or just smile to yourself. These mini celebrations make the big goal less scary and more exciting.
So, to everyone listening, track your goal progress regularly. Don't be afraid to adjust your plan if you need to. And never forget to celebrate the small steps that get you closer. Those steps are the real success.
We hope you found today's episode helpful and that you're feeling ready to focus on your goals with fresh energy. Thanks so much for spending this time with us on Speak Up. Keep practicing your English, and remember, we're here cheering you on every step of the way.
That's right, Priya. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with friends who want to improve their English, and leave us a comment about your goals. Until next time, keep speaking up and moving forward. Thanks again for listening.